Okay, let's get things going. Thanks for joining us today. As it's a large group of us in the meeting today, just ask that you keep yourself muted during the call. If you have any questions, just reach out afterwards, and we'll take care of you. We're also recording this meeting so that those that didn't have a chance to attend can catch up, and if you want to review it later, you have the ability to kind of do that. So we'll be sending that link out shortly after the call. Just a couple of notes before we get going. This is the last meeting of the year, and as such, we're going to dedicate most of it to safety. We started 2024 with a really low EMR or mod rate. It was 0.81. That was the lowest we've had in a very long time. Unfortunately, we had a few recordables over the last several months here that's due to change that a bit. But there may be some things that are beyond our control, and we may not be able to eliminate all accidents, but there are some things we can do better to reduce them and also improve our EMR moving forward. So that's what we want to try to focus on today. I believe the superintendents want to say a few words first. So, Brian, are you out there? You want to jump in?
Yeah, thank you, Shawn. I don't want to take up a lot of time. I just want to thank everybody. Wish them a Merry Christmas. We put a lot of responsibility on the foreman and GFs, and unfortunately, we all learn with these accidents that come up, and sometimes we got to make changes. There are going to be some changes that Jason Kiely is going to talk about. This company will never be about terminating someone or just getting rid of them. We will always support. God forbid there's an accident, we'll always be there for our employees. But sometimes we got to remember that we're running 500 employees in the field. We're doing, around close to $300 million a year now. And sometimes we have to put things into effect to protect everybody and protect the company. And we also learn from these incidents. It's unfortunate. We had a couple of pretty serious injuries this year. And, I've learned out of them too, that there's things that I have to do better. We had a deposition about a month ago on a job with OSHA. And OSHA, 90% of the questions that OSHA asks are about documentation. They asked about, when the last time I was out to visit a job. And I had to answer that I wasn't, because a lot of times I focus a lot more on the larger projects, and I know that I might have a two-man crew that I don't have to worry about. But, what I'm taking out of this is I have to do better too, and I have to give attention to those smaller projects too. So some of the things that we're going to talk about here, please, we are never, ever going to turn our backs on any employee or any foreman, but there are some changes that we have to make. I think, Johnny, that's all I have. Johnny Cummings, I think, might want to say a few words.
Yeah, what's up, guys? How we doing? Thanks for getting on this call. Just to back up Brian and all of us here, I think the message here is, especially with these pre-task plannings and these toolbox talks, all it is a paper trail and backup for us to, for one, protect the company, and for two, protect yourself as well. Without that paper trail, we kind of look like a bunch of bozos out there if we don't have it. You know what I mean? And not only that, obviously, it helps with the insurance as well. I can't speak for, the insurance to an extent anyways. That's Shawn's thing. But obviously, it does hurt us, obviously, right? I've been definitely getting texts, emails on guys that do not have the app and are not hooked up with this thing, and we're going to fix that. So I know you guys been looking for, my guys especially, looking for how to get an account with that app. I'm going to speak with Jason. I've been just waiting for all of the names and not just one name at a time, just so I can not kill Jason at all with all these emails. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to gather up everybody's name and do a one-time thing. So I am aware of multiple guys that don't have the app. I sent out a link yesterday on how to get that app. That's step number one. Step number two, I have to get with Jason to make an account for you guys so you're able to hop on that app and then go through I think it's a multiple choice thing where you just check boxes. That's all you do. And it takes all of 3 minutes to do daily. Even for you guys that are working by yourselves, you still can get hurt by yourself. So we need to do a better job with the pre-tasks in the toolbox talks, and just like I said earlier, it just protects the company and it protects yourself and it protects the supervisors to have your back when something does go down, that's kind of all I have. So I'll be in touch with you guys to get that account going, and if need be, I guess I can meet up with Jason and he can comb me through it, and I can learn more about that app as well, just so I can teach everybody out there as well. So thank you guys, appreciate it.
And great job there, John. Thank you for touching on those couple things, and thanks, Brian, for jumping in there. Jason, you wanna take over?
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, John and Brian, Shawn, jumping in today too. So what John was talking about too is there's multiple different apps that we use. Not apps, but Smart Sheets is what we do our pre-task plans on. That is a daily, every morning pre-task plan where you cover what you're doing with your crew, what hazards you see, and what preventative measures you need to take. And they are check boxes, literally and figuratively, it's check boxes that is a paper trail that is very, very important. Like Brian was saying, we've been with OSHA a few times this year, and they ask for these every single time: JHAs, pre-task plans, and toolbox talks. So the toolbox talks are supposed to be done weekly, Mondays, Fridays, preferably. But honestly, as long as you're doing them and documenting them, I'm fine with whatever day makes most sense for you, because I know not all crews operate the same. We have multiple different options for where these toolbox talks can be found. If you have a Bluebeam folder for your job, they're all in there under your safety folder. You can find any one of them, print them out, do it the old school way. I'm perfectly fine with that, as long as you're uploading them back onto Bluebeam or saving them somewhere that we can get to them later if need be. The other option is this app we have called the Safety Meeting app. We bought it about 2 years ago, I believe, maybe 3 years ago now. And we started using it. It's an option. I think it's great because everything is done right on your phone, right on your iPad, right on your laptop. You don't have to print anything out. You can put everyone's names right on it, and it transforms into a PDF right when you're done with it. And there's like tens of thousands of different topics on there. You can find anything you want on there. Whereas on Bluebeam, we only have like 130 something or so different topics. So after 2 years, you've already done, almost all of the relevant ones. So you run out of them pretty quickly. On the bigger jobs, you end up redoing them. So highly suggest the app. Moving forward, if you'd like to use that app and you don't already have it, talk to your superintendents. They'll get a list together. They'll forward it to me. I'll make you an account, and then you can download it and have at it. We can also have Gary or myself come out to your job and show you how to use them. I have no problem doing that. Another thing they were talking about is accountability. So another thing OSHA's been asking for us this year, the past 3 times we've been with them, is safety violations. If we are holding ourselves accountable, if we're writing people up or using a discipline policy to police ourselves. If we don't, they will, is what it sounds like when they say it. If we hold ourselves accountable, we're less likely for other entities to hold us accountable. And it's much better if we're holding ourselves accountable than if, a GC or insurance or OSHA is holding us accountable, because we all know it goes a little differently if it's done outside of our house. That being said, and Brian said it as well, I'm guilty of it as well. One of the smaller jobs that we had an issue on this year, I had no documentation of me auditing that job. It's two men on that job, sometimes 3. They slipped through the cracks. Not to say that it's any less important than a giant job. However, that's a fault of me. That's a fault of the office here. We tend to forget about the smaller jobs. That being said as well, the foreman on the smaller jobs, it's just as important for them to do those pre-task plans and do a toolbox docs. Those are like the first things OSHA asks for when we go into their office, and having them is great. Not having them, it's just like Johnny Cummings said, look like bozos, because it's very simple. It's day one stuff that we need to get back on top of, and we're here to help you guys with that. We want to help you with it. We want to point you in the right direction, especially if you're a newer foreman and this stuff hasn't been explained to you and you haven't been shown how to do that. That's 110% on us, not on you. So if you're in that predicament and you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, that's on us. That's on me. That's not on you. So if you're newer to this, please call me. You can come in, sit down. I'll go to you and sit down. We'll get you squared away. The accountability and discipline we're talking about, this is nothing new. We've had it in our company manual for as long as I've been here anyways. There's been a section of safety violations or disciplinary policy in there. We're more or less just bringing it back to light, making it a simpler process in writing. It'll be a much simpler process, but it's going to be the same thing that it used to be, just a little more streamlined. There's going to be minor, major, and willful violations. There'll be probationary days to track all of these, and it's for the benefit of the company, but obviously it's for the benefit of us, but it benefits you guys as well and the employees. So employees know that if their supervisors, the foremen, are leading them into hazardous situations, those foremen will be held accountable as well. If somebody in the office is leading people into dangerous work, they'll be held accountable as well. And if employees aren't listening to their supervisors, you guys, the foremen, they'll be held accountable as well. So everybody will be level playing field. And this has been slipping through the cracks, and that's on us here in the office. That's on me. I haven't been holding people as accountable as I should for the past, few years. I was looking at this morning, the pre-task plans, only 38 people did them yesterday out of 180 foremen. I got to start reaching out to these people and holding them accountable. Say you need to do it. So we'll be pushing something out by the new year, come in the form of like a toolbox talk from us, where it's just going to be maybe a page or two of the new changes in the safety violation program. And what we're going to request is that you guys each go through it with your crews and have them sign it like a toolbox talk and just submit it back to us so we can document that everyone got notification of these changes. It's and like Brian said, it's not a witch hunt. We're not out to, weed out bad apples. It's just we don't anticipate having to use it very often. It's just, we've ran into a lot of scenarios in the past few years, specifically the past year, where people should have been held accountable for things, or things happen to people where rules were broken and it ended up in injury. So it's food for thought, but OSHA definitely brought it to light for us this year. So it's something that's going to be coming down. And if anyone has any questions about it before or after we send it out, phone call away, give me a shout. It's definitely deserving of an explanation much deeper than just this quick meeting. So we'll get into it a little more. If need be, you can call me, we can talk about it, but it is something that is beneficial for everybody to make sure the people above them, below them, next to them are all held to the same playing field and everyone's accountable. That's sorry, I'm getting long-winded here, but that's all I got, Shawn. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jason. You guys have had a healthy dose of safety through the first part of this call, and I don't want to harp on it too much more, but if you just hear me out for a tiny little more, we'll finish this thing up. The guys have referenced OSHA and the toolbox talks and documentation, and I'll pull it together with an incident that I was involved in recently, and it was involved OSHA, and a kid got a shock, and the first thing that OSHA did was they asked for all the documentation. Said, do you have the toolbox talks? Zippo toolbox talks. So one strike. They asked us for our safety plan, which called out pretest plan in there. They asked for our pretest plans. They had Zippo pretest plans, and in our policy, it says you're supposed to do this every day, and toolbox talks every week. And we had nothing. And then lastly, they wanted to see our safety violation policy. And we had no violations in there for a whole year. So, it just didn't look very well for us as they were going through checking their boxes. So one of these parts of this is very much checking those boxes, like Johnny said, and like Brian said, and Jason's alluding to as well, is just, we need to do the minimum amount to check these boxes to show that we're doing the best that we can to keep our team safe. in the field. If it doesn't look like we're doing that minimum, it looks like we're doing very, very little. And that does not look well for us at all. So it's very easy then to issue fines and then take a couple second looks at us. I think one of the earliest ones we had, we almost got like a free pass on it. We had a 0.81 on our mod, so I mean, and we were looking really, really good, so the first one they almost gave us a free pass on. Second one in, they're like, hey, what's going on here? And now they're scrutinizing everything. So that's kind of where we are right now. So we know that we need to do a little bit better, and everybody that's spoken so far, including myself, feels that. So we're just asking you guys to help us out with this, and if you need something, reach out to the supers or Jason or even me to say, hey, I'm having trouble doing this, and we'll walk you through whatever you need to just do this. The other side of it is there's reality behind it as well. I mean, having these sessions, these daily pre-task plans, it's easy to do, but it's not a joke. I mean, we still want to do it. Have that 5-minute conversation with your team and let them know what tools they need to use, the hazards that they might run into, and any kind of training that they might need to know about. That's all helpful for them. I mean, these construction projects, they're chaotic, and so are the personal lives of the people that work under you. And I mean, maybe that isn't supposed to matter so much, and everybody's the same, but you have to account for it. If someone's having a bad day and then they have a bad accident, it looks bad on all of us. So just take 5 minutes in a day and make sure you're doing it, not just checking the thing there, but actually have that meeting with the people. And in toolbox talks, if you're having a toolbox talk, find something that's relevant to you. Jason mentioned that there's a couple of different options you have out there. I'm hoping you guys are going to use this app. This is what we want to use. One thing for everybody. And that's why we chose this application. We bought this application because we could use it for everybody. The Bluebeam thing works for some people. It doesn't work for everybody. The one guy that's in a service truck or the guy that's in an IDF room, punching down cables, it doesn't always work for them, because they don't have a Bluebeam project that's set up for them. Or a telecom guy might not be, working on live circuits or whatever. So it's, all of our, toolbox talks are kind of governed that way. So this tool safety app that we have, like Jason said, it has thousands of different toolbox talks you can choose, and it's really easy to go. You just check the talk that you want to have, and then put in the people, the crew that you're going to have it with, when you're going to do it, and you submit it, and that's done. And then you obviously have to read it to your team, and make sure that you're kind of, personalizing it a little bit for them. I've always found when I'm giving toolbox talks, it lands a lot better if you breathe something into it. Hey guys, the last job I was on, there was a laborer went up a ladder, was half extended. He fell down hard. He hit that concrete. He broke his wrist and cracked his head wide open, and he was gone for weeks. So please just take 5 minutes and make sure that your ladder is in good placement, that it's fully extended, that it's the right size for what you need. If you're over 6 feet, you have a harness, and then it goes on. Don't just read it. Blah, 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 blah. It's just it's not enough. So again, apologies for the long, drawn-out safety thing, but it is important, and we do need your help out there. So please do your best, and if you're having any trouble, reach out to one of the team members, and they'll help you connect the dots there. And that's all I really have, and that's all we really have. Again, appreciate your time jumping on today. I appreciate everybody that spoke up during the call, Jason, Brian, and Johnny. And want you guys have a safe and happy holidays. And hopefully we'll talk to you soon. If not, we'll see you next year. Next meeting we're going to have is on March 27th. Hope you're all there. Jason will have a follow-up safety meeting in January. So maybe we'll catch up then too. So again, thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.